The Gormagander has the ignominious record of longest time on the Federation Endangered Species list. Orion hearts have 6 valves, and the Trill have rejoined the Federation. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 7th Rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Oh, hello.
Today we are doing a review of Discovery Season 3, Episode 13, That Hope Is You, Part 2, directed by Olatunde Osunsanmi. Sanmi. I think that's right. Written by Michelle Paradise. We are joined by very special guest, the artist known as Skillet.
Hello.
My name is Ryan T. Husk. How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing all right.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this action-packed season finale for Season 3 of Discovery. First things first, thank God the Gormagander's back. Am I right?
Yay.
Yeah, the Gormagander. What is the Gormagander?
Space whale.
It was a big flying sort of blobby looking space thingy.
Yeah, I think it was mentioned in Lower Decks again, but it was originally introduced in Season 1 of Discovery and then brought it back again when Harry Mudd flew in on a Gormagander in one of the episodes in Season 1. But anyway, that's what it is. It's a space whale.
And yeah, we should definitely keep talking about the Gormagander for the whole hour. It is so important. He was the best part of the episode.
No. Oh, okay. So the Gormagander got a non-appearance mention then.
Yeah, kind of. Also, I was thinking for this episode, we should call the Doctor Culber Hugh, since he's a Bajoran and they switched their names, right? So Culber Hugh. Dr. Hugh is what he would be called as a Bajoran. That's all I got. What do you guys have?
Oh, that's it. Good talk. Good talk. Have a good night, everybody.
That was it, huh? I got when Harry Mudd Sally.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
I got no jokes for you guys.
They'll come. They'll come.
I was surprised you didn't mention the Alcorian Sorrow Hawk.
Yeah, there was that. That does follow the Star Trek trope of every time they describe somebody, they give like a simile, and it's always a planet that usually starts with an A and ends with an IAN, and then is an animal that we know here on Earth. Like they'll be like, oh, he flies like an Altarian space seagull. Every time. Why? It's every time.
It works.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I think the last time we heard something like Albanian cave sloth or something.
Yeah.
So you're
knowledge.
right.
Good knowledge. Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
I'll slaughter you like an Alcorian sloth.
Gotcha.
Meanwhile, Alcorian sloths are actually, quite violent animals, not like the Earth sloths that we may have heard of.
Oh,
it's a misnomer.
They choke you to death.
Yeah, sloths are, boy, they're not scary things. Maybe they are really violent.
On Alcoria, they're much different.
Maybe they're super violent. They're just so slow that we have no idea. They're like, really want to kill you. And they're like, oh, he's hugging me. So anyway, we've got Saru and Sakal that are hanging out. Adira pops in. And Adira is now Zaheen, which is an alien that we saw on Picard and on Discovery with Poe. Poe was a Zaheen. What do you think of the choice of Adira as a Zaheen?
I mean, I thought it was a great way to sort of like keep bringing that species back in. The fans sort of like, the lexicon of characters and species that they have. Poe isn't just a one-off character, and really she's one of the only people that we met. in Discovery so far. So yeah, I definitely thought that was an interesting choice, because I was definitely very excited to see what she was going to be.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it's so cool. And seeing the makeup on her was really cool. I thought they did a really good job.
Mm-hmm. And then Gray pops in as a Vulcan or Romulan, probably a Vulcan,
which was just adorable. I thought that was so. I thought that was so sweet. And then, you know, sort of, you have to also think about how interesting the AI is on this hollow ship, you know, this program that, you know, his mother created for him and his family created for him, where they're able to recognize that there is a sentient, you know, if not corporeal, there's a sentient being with Adira, and they were able to, you know, put that, you know, being into, you know, physical form. So I thought that was a really great sort of like thing that they did, recognizing Gray as being actually sentient and not as some fans have probably thought like, oh, Adira's going crazy. And this is a really great affirmation of, you know, her being a very big part of like this unique experiencing, having, you know, not only her ex-boyfriend, but, you know, a former host being quite literally in existence. We don't know how, but I think that was really cool. And he looked adorable as a Romulan Vulcan. I thought it was really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is where we kind of fast forward to the end and say, do we think that they are going to incorporate Gray into season 4 as an actual, like, not just an imaginary friend kind of thing, or Adira's memory or Trill symbiont, whatever, but actually kind of like how Skillet, you'll remember on Voyager, the doctor's hollow emitter. Maybe they'll figure out some kind of technology to actually make Gray a character that everybody sees and that interacts. Do you guys think they're going to do that? Because it seems like that's the direction they're taking it.
Yeah.
I hope so. If not, having Gray be a regular character. He wasn't a regular, you know, this season. But I think the technology that they could explore behind, you know, making him come to life would be really interesting. You know what I mean? We've already, you know, convinced this admiral to investigate the burn, and, you know, for him not to hate, you know, Commander Burnham, and, you know, realize, you know, she's actually got something happening going on here, and for them to trust them. And now it's like, hey, Adira's got an imaginary friend. You've got this technology. Can we try to bring Gray to life? and you know, and so it's just kind of like, excuse me, you want to use, you know, this technology to do what? So I think that would be interesting to see if they, you know, explore this. We have to convince Starfleet that there's a being here that you can't see, and we need to bring him to life. Can we use your hollow emitters, please? So I think that would be interesting if they do explore that. Maybe not too much, but I think it would be a good idea. I think it would be really nerdy. I think it'd be really nerdy because, you know, there's, you know, Star Trek fans are kind of like, you know, exist in different levels. There's some who are really there for the humanity of the stories, and some there who are just really there for like the tech. Some who are there for the space babes. You know what I mean? So I think like the techie, the geekies, you know, the geeks will really be like, oh, it's so cool how they did that. So yeah, I hope they incorporate that.
Yeah. And what's interesting to me about Gray's character, I thought it was well used in the scene where Gray had to go through the radioactive kind of force field that was separating them,
right,
which is a power that could be used later on down the road. It is actually like being able to walk through walls, or some kind of power that you have, right?
Agreed.
Which they can definitely expand upon. But the other thing I really like about Gray is the fact that Star Trek really has a way of including people and making people feel like they have a belonging, a sense of belonging. And that's one of the things that really builds his fan base and has made people gravitate towards it. And I feel like they are actually using Gray as this exact same kind of explanation to why they do this. Gray is the outcast character who doesn't feel like they belong, who doesn't even feel like they're recognized. and you see how much they're going out of their way, Culber in particular, and Stamets, to make sure that they are accepted. Somebody who is not seen, who's not, who nobody else knows exists.
Who's not even alive. Somebody who actually is dead.
Right. And even they have a chance to find acceptance and a sense of belonging. And I think that's important as far as checking a box off, which Star Trek does so well.
But that is an interesting thought, where it's like, not even death can get you to, like, you're dead, doesn't matter. We're bringing you back as a character. And they're going to have to, like, if they are able to do that, then they're really going to have to study Grey's Anatomy to know. But the point is, what I'm trying to say is, what you're saying about how him having a special power, that is something that every Star Trek series does have. Like, Next Generation had Data, that was immune to just about everything because he's an android. Deep Space Nine has Odo, who is immune to a bunch of things and is special because he's a changeling. And the Voyager has the Doctor, who, when everybody passes out and dies, the Doctor just goes, oh, well, I guess I'll go revive everybody. So every Star Trek series kind of has that person with this superpower of, like, well, this doesn't hurt me because I'm just an imaginary friend, or I'm just a hologram, or whatever. But then it begs the question, if they can do this for Grey, then does that mean that the entire Trill homeworld is about to populate itself with the memories of dead Trill people?
See, I would have to say no, because if this was a known thing that your past hosts come back to you, I think that would be something that's, like, either known throughout Star Trek canon, or at least maybe something that was mentioned to Adira as a new host after she affirmed herself, after they affirmed themselves. And I think that would definitely be something that would have been mentioned, because a bunch of hosts walking around with their imaginary past.
But they might find out now that they do it and go, wow, and then it becomes like this whole, ethical question. There's a lot of gray area there.
God, I feel like you have hundreds of people walking around, with voices talking to them, and they just don't tell anybody. Like, are you like? I think that's highly unlikely. That you just have people just like, oh, you had someone talking in your ear all these years you've been a host. Me too, and me too, and me too. And it's like, no one said anything. So we might have to do a little, like, gentleman's bet with that. And, like, I'll definitely mail you $1 if I'm wrong. But I don't think so.
No, it's true that is the special case that Adira is. Adira is human. And so this is a different reaction that has never happened before. So maybe the other Trill aren't even aware. Well, I mean, they do have the memories, though. I mean, they could do it. Here's the thing is, I really, really, Culber's one of my favorite characters. And when Culber died, I was bummed out because I didn't want one of my favorite characters to be gone. So when they brought him back, I was very happy about this, but I thought that the way they did it, the science with which they used, I was just like, this is not, I wish they would have found a different way. Now it's really hard to find a way to bring somebody back that's dead and make it believable scientifically speaking. So now I'm worried about this again with Grey, because, having Grey back as a character, as an actual corporeal type of character would be cool, but I'm worried about it's going to be really hard to come up with some fake science where we don't go, that doesn't make any sense. That's my concern.
Are we sure that Adira is 100% human? Is she part Beta Z? Do we know anything
human, I believe,
about them?
I don't know 100%. I think it's safe to say Adira is 100% human, though.
Okay.
Cirroc, have we heard anything different? I don't know.
I haven't heard anything different.
Like they've got like a great grandparent that's like, They said they didn't know, and then it's like, oh, that's why. It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be one of the things I'm interested in for season 4.
So
I was kind of interested in seeing somebody die in this episode, which I didn't get to see, and I was a little bit let down.
who did you want to see die?
Somebody, one of them. I didn't know who.
Just
I
anybody?
thought
You just wanted blood.
I thought Gray was going to die, actually. I thought Gray was going to opt out of. I thought Gray was going to say, I'm good with being in this simulation where I'm actually invisible or something to that effect.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
And stay behind.
The simulation ended and the ship exploded or fell apart.
Yeah. Something, though. I just thought something was going to happen either with Gray or then with the other lieutenant who said she can hold her breath for 10 minutes. I thought she was going to die too.
I thought she might die too. I thought that this might be her swan song, although I will say this is definitely a Discovery hallmark. Okay. This happens often to where I think 20 years from now we'll be laughing about this as the Discovery hallmark, which is 6 people are trying to save the ship or they're trying to do this mission and they're all about to die and they say, oh, well, you're the only one that can do it. Hurry, we're all about to die. And she goes, okay, I will. I love you guys very much. And just want to take this time to really, and they're like, we're actually dying. Can you just show us how much you love us by going?
Yeah.
But they keep doing that where it's like, time is of the essence. Captain, we only have 4 seconds left. And they're like, okay, I just want to let all of you know right now. They're like, just hurry, do it.
Yeah.
I mean, Disco is a little emo. I mean, like let's just listen. We know this by the fanboys crying about it on the internet ad nauseum all day, every day.
Yeah.
Disco's a little emo. Like it's how it is. They've got the talent for it. They've got the heart swelling music, and they've got beautiful camera work. It's definitely super emo. So I think maybe it'll be something that the writers and the directors will look back on one day and be like, wow, like, why are we all so into our feelings? They might do that. There might be we were really proud of that we made something that was that heartfelt every 4th scene. There's
always something with Star Trek series where we look back 20 years later and we're like, Deep Space Nine was so fill in the blank or Next Generation, and we laugh about it fondly. I think this will be the thing with Discovery. This will be like the running joke.
They were the emo kid in the back of the class. So, and I'm okay with it for right now. So,
but I was definitely happy that it all worked out. I did think that Cirroc, I did think somebody might die here. I thought it might be her sacrificing herself, which would be a bummer to lose her, but it would be cool to lose her in a cool way, in a way where she's out saving the day. And everybody survived. Everything was cool, but it was a good moment. She was, what was it? She used to go diving for abalone, right?
Free diving.
Yeah, but the thing I thought was weird about that scene was they just needed her to go into the warp core or something to put that thing. And I'm like, why didn't they send the robot in the first place?
I knew you were going to say that. Just, where are the robots?
Where are the robots? The robots showed up before that scene, hey, we're here to help,
I think most of them had gotten blown to bits, and that one kind of just came randomly out of nowhere. Because remember when they were in the firefight, the robots were using themselves as cover.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Point.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know where that one came from even. So.
But I will say that it was miraculous how that robot was completely decimated and OO had not a scratch on her. It's you guys could have given her a chafed shoulder.
Anything.
Yeah.
But still, whatever, it works. We get it. It was cool. It was fun.
Yeah.
Dot 23s is what they're called.
They're so adorable too.
The Dot 23s. I like the special effects of Burnham in that fight scene she had with Osira, when Osira kind of pushed her into that wall. I really like that special effect.
Yeah, let's talk about
wall? What was that wall? Maybe I missed it.
I feel like maybe that's one of their because it was made of the same material that they used to personalize their consoles.
Programmable matter, I think.
Yeah, so maybe that was that's where it lives. Mm-hmm. Or maybe because that was the ship's data center hub. So maybe they need a lot more programmable matter in there because there's multiple people doing multiple things. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever it is, it's some kind of programmable matter. But what were you saying you wanted to talk about, Carmen?
Yeah, let's talk about. There was multiple fight scenes. I mean, there's Burnham and Osira. There's the the shootouts between the lieutenants. There was the turbolift fights. There was the
great effects in the turbolift.
Emotional fight.
It was actually so good that I kind of lost where we were. I was like, wait, are we flying through space? Where are we? And then when they got to the other, I'm like, oh, we're just flying through the ship?
Yep.
That was very confusing, but it looked so cool.
It was really cool.
Effects are still through the roof. Music is through the roof. Unbelievable. So, sometimes you go, I don't even understand what's going on anymore, but it's just so fun to watch and really well done and super produced. So,
yeah, Go ahead. Oh, I was going to say, I thought, like you were saying, as they're flying through this turbolift system, and you don't really know where they are until they're coming to an actual port for the elevator essentially to stop, and that it's just so cool how they sort of kept the movement of everything going, and it looked really fluid. Mm-hmm. I was really impressed by that, and it didn't look fake. And especially when you think about how far turbolift technology has apparently come, from Next Generation. Picard was stuck in a turbolift and had to climb up a ladder with the kids. And it's like we always knew that the turbolifts could go up and down and side to side, but this suggests that it's advanced to the point where the turbolifts are independent of any sort of ropes or pulleys or a shaft, and that they can literally freely go any. I always did wonder that about, ever since we've been back, and it's like they seem to get from deck to deck instantaneously. Turbolift rides are so much shorter this season. I'm like, how are they getting everywhere so fast? And it's like, oh, okay. So because they can just fly everywhere.
There's a ton of empty space on that ship too. They should have some storage bins with all that empty space. It's
almost kind of like you thinking about the human body and our circulatory system. And it's kind of like, our blood is moving in various veins all throughout our bodies. But then it's like, how is, it's still so filled up by other things. And it's like, but that just looks so hollow. Just like you said, it's like, it seems like a lot of wasted space. They're definitely cool, but a lot of wasted space. So yeah, it just it was definitely the turbolift shaft area. I don't even know what we're calling it anymore. It can't really be a shaft because it's not up and down and left and right. Turbolift.
What do you think, Cirroc? Would you call it a shaft?
Base?
Yeah, sure. No, I was thinking if you like the turbo lift, then you'll really like the escalator lift. No, no. I was thinking the same thing. Really good scene. I love the fight scene in the turbo lift. It did look. It reminded me a little bit of Star Wars for some reason or another. When they have those lightsaber scenes in the middle of, that empty space. So I kind of thought of that. I did like that it was moving and it was giving us an insight to how they actually get around inside the turbolift. Because that's a question that I think we all had, just the mechanics of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
We all had a visual of it, but we never really seen it on screen. And I think that was pretty good depiction. So shout out to the director and them putting that together with the visual effects people. A lot of fight scenes, though. I think I have to say almost too many fight scenes for me because it was a little
Gasp.
bit too much.
No, I
There's
did
a
find
lot.
it. Yeah, I found that there weren't a lot of notes I could take because there wasn't a lot of plot or story. It was just the culmination of the previous 12 episodes.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, and here's all the fight scenes. Like, there wasn't a lot of actual plot, right?
Exactly. The most of the sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, most of it was fight scenes, so there wasn't much to write down. I think the meat of the storytelling for me was Segal's performance with Saru, and I thought Segal did an excellent job with his part of the story, which was his family and dealing with how the burn began. So that was most of the storyline for me as far as like performance. The rest is the action stuff is not really. There's not really anything to write down. Two people fighting in an elevator or something. But
It's fun to watch, though.
it was fun to watch.
There was definitely a lot of the story with Segal. So the burn happened because he got sad about his mom dying and he screamed. But they explained it. But then I was worried. I'm like, are you sure you want to show him this thing all over again? What if he screams? What if it's just a little scream? What if it's just a little gasp? That's still enough to wipe out a few hundred ships, maybe, right?
Yeah.
This guy's pretty powerful. So what's up? He and Saru now are going to go do their own thing?
Yeah, they showed it.
Yeah.
They are doing their own thing. He's basically integrating him their culture. Mm-hmm. And I love we're fast forwarding a little bit, but I love the scene on their planet and just seeing it look so much more advanced than it did when we first met Saru when he was recruited. I thought that I definitely got a little emo at that moment because it was so beautiful, but then it's just like, wow, look how far the Kelpians have come, and just so happy. Of course, Saru is like, oh my God, they're in the Federation. What was that? A few episodes back where he got kind of choked up about that. So yeah, I thought that was a good choice to kind of show the two of them at the end, sort of sitting and watching the night sky. And yeah, I thought that was a beautiful moment.
I'll be sad to see Saru go if he does. I mean, he might still be part of the production, but if he's just out gallivanting on, Kaminar, then that won't really hold, the same interest for me as having him on the ship with most of the storyline and most of the characters.
I think they're going to give him his own ship.
On Kaminar?
I think they're just going to give him his own ship, his own commission, or Burnham's going to screw up again and he's going to get Discovery back.
Or Burnham might say, hey, I need a first officer, but then she's kind of got Tilly. I know we're jumping around, but Jesus Christ, you guys, how cool were those uniforms?
So cool.
Those were the best so far. I know there have been a lot of wardrobe, a lot of outfits, but this was the one that by far looked the sharpest to me. Now, I don't know what I'm talking about. Cirroc is the wardrobe expert here. What do you think, Cirroc? What do you think of the new uniforms they had in gray with the stripe of color?
Yeah, I like them. Okay. I don't know if they're the best right now. So far, I think Culber's all-white outfit has been the best outfit I've seen so far.
Or Culber's Mirror Universe outfit, too, was super sharp.
Right.
And that was hot.
Maybe he just makes everything look good. Because he looked good as a Bajoran, too.
He does. He does make clothes look good. But yeah, no, I did see that they had the new outfits. I didn't put too much emphasis on it. I didn't really study it enough. I thought it was kind of like the one that Admiral Vance was wearing, so I didn't really see that it was different.
It is. No, it is. You're right.
Okay.
It's it's the present day Starfleet uniform that they've now integrated into.
Okay. So we have seen it. I just haven't seen it on the crew yet.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely like the uniforms. I mean, I like them since they've been in this century. And I was just like, when are they gonna change them? So it was definitely, aesthetics aside, I just thought it was a really nice moment to have her come out onto the bridge, flanked by her officers and everyone kind of like now firmly taking their place 900 years into the future with the proper attire.
Right. Now they're totally and completely integrated into Starfleet. Absolutely. I'm just looking forward to people cosplaying in that uniform at the next Star Trek convention in 2029.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will see it.
Well, if it's in 2029, I actually have time to like build that cosplay. So
yeah. But I'm sure people will use that to cosplay. I think it looks super sharp. What were you going to say, Cirroc?
I was going to say that, watching this show so far since the beginning, I've always felt that Burnham was the captain of this ship and the leader of the show. And they've taken it away from her. They've given it to other people. I think Tilly had it for a while. And it seems like she's finally getting her just deserves for the kind of leader that she is, right? She takes risks. She's adventurous in her approach, but she gets the job done. And I think she's finally getting the recognition. And it just makes me think, in some ways, as a Black person, it feels as though you always have to kind of put in more work to get the same amount of recognition. So I wanted to highlight that.
I'm saying, though.
I'm saying. So she saved the day, the universe, the galaxy, the future, the past.
A few times.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
pretty much every episode.
Right. So I'm like,
So what's the saying? We have to work twice as hard to get half as much. I'm glad that she's getting just as much.
She personifies that.
Right.
Do you guys think that she'll be the head of Starfleet when the series is over? Because I predicted when everything first started that she will. I'm like, obviously she's going to end up being captain. There's nobody that doesn't think that she's going to end up being captain but I thought it was either going to be at the end of the series, she'll finish off as the captain of the Discovery and fly off, or she's going to end up being the head of Starfleet or the Federation president, which I thought was less likely. But now that she's already captain, then that means the series is not going to end with her becoming captain. So maybe she will be the Federation president when it all ends.
I mean, it's the... Oh, go ahead, Cirroc.
Yeah, but I mean, past captain really doesn't matter for me, whether she's the admiral or the Federation of Planets president. I think the captain status is really where it matters the most, because you're the leader of the ship, and this is technically a ship-based show. All of the shows are ship-based shows. So to me, she's made it to the pinnacle. I wouldn't necessarily feel let down if she doesn't get another promotion or she's not an admiral or something to that effect. I'm not going to be let down. But I was let down that she had to put this much into getting the captains, unanimously, because she has been the all-out leader of this crew since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting you say that. I hate this sort of like thing that goes around whenever you have a strong female character, whether she be Black, white, or other. She can do everything, and she's a Mary Sue. Daisy Ridley and Star Wars. Rey is a Mary Sue, and it's like, she can do it. It's impossible that she can do everything. Why not? First of all, Luke Skywalker, he could do a little bit of everything. Picard can kind of do everything. Kirk could do everything. And it's like the captains are kind of like seen as this sort of like all-knowing, all-encompassing sort of human being. So why Burnham, who grew up with two scientist parents who did deep space missions, and she grew up on a ship and then raised by Vulcans, and then having this incredible career where she's got all these experiences. I never understand the sort of internet outrage. I just don't understand, how she's, capable of doing all this, and how come she's so, she's too good at, that's the whole thing. She's too good at things. And it's like, you know what, just calm down, because Picard is too good at things. You know what I mean? Kirk was too good at everything. And so,
Thank you
so
for
I think
saying that. I appreciate it.
so definitely, that's been very, very frustrating for me, Cirroc, is, watching the show and having enormous pride for Burnham and, her journey and, her capabilities, only to go on forums and be excited to talk to people about them. And they're just, taking dumps on the character and how they write for her. And I'm like, you don't say anything when Riker is just the best at everything. You say something when it's Kate Mulgrew. You say something when it's Sonequa Martin Green. You say something when it's Daisy Ridley in Star Wars. And so, it's definitely frustrating when you're, seeing women kick ass and then seeing Black women kick ass, and people have a problem with that. They're smart, they're strong, they're attractive. They can fix a ship. They can take back a ship. You know what I mean? And so it's always been very frustrating to me. But I'm definitely, I feel you there, where I'm very, very glad that she is in the captain's chair. And I hope she doesn't lose it again. But I feel enormous pride that she has been promoted rightfully. She saved everyone multiple times.
Every episode.
Yep. And just for the record also, she hasn't failed to convince me that she's capable of doing the things that she's been doing. I believe her when she's in a fight scene, for example, that she can really kick some ass. I don't say, this girl looks like she couldn't kick anybody's ass. No, she actually is selling this. And she's selling that she's compassionate. She's selling that she's adventurous, or that she's a risk taker. She's selling all of these different elements of the character that I believe come across genuine. So the critique is always going to be there, because people want to undermine what women are capable of doing, and always try to make it look like, it's just not believable when it is. So I know we don't pay that any mind. I'm just glad that she's able to get the recognition, because it seems as though everybody doubts her on this show, right? Saru was doubting her and saying, "I don't think you're making the right decision," and Vance was doubting her and saying, "No, you're doing it wrong, and I doubt that you're going to do it."
Do you remember who didn't doubt her?
I feel like
Georgiou. She always had her back, right?
Yeah.
Even Mirror Georgiou.
Yeah, right. And so I guess it's the resistance of the doubt is what makes it so difficult, because that's something that's familiar to me, where people doubt that you're able to do something, or doubt your capabilities.
Yeah.
And I just wish that she didn't have to overcome so much doubt.
Mm-hmm. I could probably say a whole lot more, because I can. Well, I definitely,
Sadly, we don't have time.
I definitely.
But I will. I'm going to push back.
Say, but I won't.
I'm going to push back on this and talk about my favorite character. Captain Picard is not good at everything, not by a long shot. He's a good captain, and he's a good diplomat. He has done some fight scenes, but he's never been an action superhero. They did, Starship Mine. He did a little bit of that one by one kind of thing. First Contact, he had his moments. But for the most part, what I liked about Captain Picard was that he was kind of flawed. He knew his limitations. He wasn't Worf. He wasn't an action superhero for the most part, usually. He wasn't out saving the galaxy every time. He was picking the right person to go save the day. He was hemming and hawing and being, a diplomat and really trying to be, a hero in a different way. And I like that about him. So, when you said Picard was good at everything, I was like, I don't know.
No,
I love the guy. I love the guy, but
you misunderstand me. When I say he's good at everything, I mean I'm saying he's good at the things wrote him into. Let's find a situation where he was not able to diplomatically talk them out of the situation. Do you know what I mean? Like when I say good at everything, I mean like, yes, he was a great diplomat, great captain, great leader. And so it's like there are very few instances that you will find in the course of the 7 seasons of the first show where he was incapable of talking, like even if it was in the last 5 minutes of the episode. Picard always somehow came through with this great sort of poignant thing to say, and everyone was like, oh, okay. And I'm saying, yeah, within his wheelhouse, he could do everything. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, like, he could, like,
everything was magically solved within 42 minutes.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm not saying he was like great with the batleth. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, he was great with kids, because he wasn't. I'm just saying that, like, within the set of circumstances that they wrote for him, it seemed as if he could always just magically have the perfect, oratory skills to talk them into what they wanted or out of what they didn't want. Does that make more sense? So yeah, so I don't get killed in the comments.
Well, they can go ahead. I mean, whatever.
No!
We get killed. What was it? We got killed in the comments. Every time I say something, twice I've quoted Chain of Command, and it was really not Chain of Command. It was Best of Both Worlds. For some reason, I just say Chain of Command. People are like, you son of a... And there's like 50 comments about that was Best of Both Worlds, and you know it.
Like, we're doing it live, folks.
Yeah.
I want to highlight something that I thought was really... it caught me by surprise because I forgot. And it was when Saru was talking to Segal, and he was going through seeing the images of his mom and seeing that whole thing play out. But the moment when he turned around and saw that Saru was no longer a human, he was back in his alien wardrobe and makeup.
Yeah,
I love that. I thought it was special because it was a reveal where I wasn't even expecting it, and I love that moment where he's like seeing somebody like him for the first time.
And he's a much shorter Kelpian, by the way. Did you guys notice that?
Yes, but he was still wearing the shoes.
Right. I checked too. I was like, is he even wearing the? Does he even have hooves? Because he's so much shorter than Saru.
He plays his character like Max played Rom, by the way. I can't stop thinking about
sort of like the slightly sort of like
hunched. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was a beautiful moment. I thought that was an absolutely beautiful moment.
Yeah, there's this childlike element to what he does that I feel like Rom also has this childlike approach when he does things.
Sort of tentative.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I noticed the same thing, and it's in his physicality. It's in his delivery. He's playing a scared child, a scared man baby, basically. Like he's a guy that's never actually seen the outside world, a guy that's just grown up for 100 years playing with his own toys by himself, and he's just kind of like, well, what's out there? He's he's timid. He's immature. He's ignorant. He doesn't know what's outside in that world. Apparently, he's a pretty known actor. A lot of people are singing his praises. I don't think I know him.
I kept saying that I thought he was familiar, but I didn't look up the actor's name yet.
Oh, we only have a few minutes left. But speaking of familiar, Cirroc, do you remember this new character, Lieutenant Aina? She's kind of like this new bridge character that just popped on like 2 or 3 episodes ago. There's just like, there's always Owaskan, Detmer, there's Bryce and Reese. And then they added, what's her name? The lady that played Detmer to the first Detmer. She's also in there. And now there's another lady, I believe she has the bangs, and we saw her in the Mirror Universe. And she was an actress that, just like Detmer, character that played Detmer, she played a previous bridge alien and it was the Osnolus. It's kind of like this taller, really big head thing with all these things coming out. If you'd ever see that character in the background on the bridge, and there were two of them on the ship, but there was one on the bridge. So she was one of them, or she was the one that was on the bridge there. And for whatever reason, that Osnolus is gone, and the actress is just playing a human, and so that's her. She also played an admiral in a scene in season 3. You know, when Vance was talking to a bunch of admirals, she also played one of the admirals.
Are you talking about the brunette?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe she has bangs. Yeah. She
I
just
was
came out of
honestly
nowhere,
like,
right?
where did she come from? Who is that? But okay.
That's who it is. She's the character that played that Osnolus alien, and now she stopped playing that, and now she's just a character that came out of nowhere. Just like what was the lieutenant's name?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I guess she's hanging out with all the cool kids. She good with them. She's good with me. But yeah, it was just, you know, like, are we supposed to know who that? Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, we're like, has she always been here and we've just missed her?
Right.
Suddenly she's just there, and everybody's acting like she's always been there. We're like, has she always been there?
Yeah, that's how I feel about Jet every time I see her. I'm like, did they just film all of Jet's scenes in one day and they just broke them up and just placed them in different episodes? Because I swear she's standing in the same place all the time.
I think that Tig Notaro, I think that she is just, I think she likes it, but I think I think she's probably somewhere just like, yeah, yes, Trek, but not too much Trek. So like, totally. Yeah, she's probably like, you know, especially because, you know, she kind of likes to fly under the radar from what I've seen, that she's probably like, put me in like a third of the episodes and I think that would be okay.
Yeah, so the actress I'm thinking of that played Ariam was Sarah Middich, and but I can't remember what the character's name is, Sarah Middich, because she played Lieutenant Nilsson. So she was Ariam for the first season, and then the second season she came as the blonde lady, Sarah Lieutenant Nilsson. And then there's also another one that played Ariam 2.0 that I think came back in the Mirror universe as well. So all these characters that we've seen as both Ariams, as the Osnolus, they're like, well, we can use them again because we haven't seen them out of makeup. So that's really cool.
Right. I mean, it's actually, that shows a lot of loyalty to the actor.
Exactly.
And, you know, they don't have to sign a new contract with someone else.
So since we only have a minute left, guys, any final thoughts on season 3 or hopes or predictions for season 4?
Should I go? I thought it was, especially given, not to get, again, too emo, given the kind of 2020 that everybody had, I think ending the season this way with such beauty and such hope and a lot of love, I thought was a really good choice. I don't know if that was what the final episode was supposed to be from the beginning, or if they maybe changed it because they're like, everyone's had enough death and destruction last year. But I think to kind of like bring in the new year with this new episode being so beautifully shot and such great choreography, I thought they did a really good job of sort of like, you know, sort of giving us this hope. So I was really, really into the last episode. I'm so excited for season 4. Again, they can start it with a completely clean slate. There was no cliffhangers. So I'm definitely really, because they can do anything. And I think that's great. I think it's great when you have a completely blank sheet of paper and they don't have to pick up a thread, you know, from where it left off. So I'm definitely excited, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. My thoughts are number one, I really love the way they've incorporated Kenneth Mitchell into this show at the end of this series. That's my real highlight of this last couple of episodes, is seeing him, and I hope that I get more of him on the next season. I also want to say, kind of to piggyback off of what you were saying, Carmen, about what we've been going through collectively worldwide with this pandemic and how people have had to make certain sacrifices so that we can get through this. And one of the things that I felt they were making a point of saying, which they actually did say directly in this episode, was the need to connect is at our core as sentient beings. And they were talking about our need to connect. And I feel like that was particularly placed in there to highlight the fact that even though we're going through all this, there is a hope for that need of connection and their hope to fulfill that need. And I also
and that
want to
hope is you. Sorry, I just had to say that because that's the title of the episode.
Hope is you. Part 2. And then finally, I want to just bring a little bit of highlight to the Gene Roddenberry quote that they put at the end. And I feel like that's once again was placed in there for the fact that, you know, we're going through what we're going through collectively. It mentioned something about all of us being aliens on this planet, trying to find friends and having people to talk with. You probably have it in front of you, Ryan.
No, but that's the one.
Yeah.
We definitely all got that. That's a good one. Well, you guys covered both things I really kind of wanted to mention. One was Kenneth Mitchell, that it's amazing they did it. And, you know, they've left the door open in case he's willing and able to jump in for the 4th season, but it's not necessary. You know, it's just kind of like something that's open. And the other thing is kind of expanding on that is that, like you said, Skillet, like it's open. We can do whatever we want for season 4. No cliffhangers, no forced things. We know that now it's just, okay, here we are. Here's our ship. We're in our new uniforms. We're going to go out and do whatever it is that goes on in the 32nd century or whatever it is.
And more Oded Fair, please.
Yeah.
Please, for the ladies.
And the boys. I think it's fair to have him. That was a last name joke. Anyway, so, but thank you so much for joining us, and everybody at home, thank you all so much for playing with us for 13 weeks. We'll keep the Deep Space Nine reviews coming. We'll keep other things coming. We'll keep reviewing all the new stuff, and it's going to be awesome. Any final words before we go? My finger's on the trigger.
Thank you both so much for having me. I really appreciate it and would love to come back. Happy 2021.
You are awesome. Hope to see you with us again. And happy 2021 to everybody. Yeah, definitely. Thank you all very much. And everybody at home, always remember the 7th rule.